Hello there, Mike the MC, bringing you another video today. Hope everyone's doing well today, and just like any other self-care video, this one is very inspirational, where I just speak from the heart, thinking about something that really gets me motivated to say something inspirational, hopefully. And if it does inspire you in some way, that is the key. And that is why this video is faith against all odds. And what I mean by this is, I just see so many videos today on YouTube, especially from any perspective. This is beyond the Catholic perspective where my background is. So with all perspectives, really, this pays respect to a man and a woman's faith in what they believe in against what society's telling them to be that is probably not in their favor. And that is where I'm driving this video forward. And I think there are many great ideas. Let me take a step back. There are many great ideas where people are trying to present a good idea for the betterment of people. But then again, for those of us who fall into those illusions, those traps of what society wants us to become, this idea of the perfect beauty, the perfect image, the perfect family, perfect job, perfect career, perfect life. If you always think about it, why don't they talk about the end and the conclusion, the fulfillment of a life? And I just think back to one of my classes from the seminary where we were talking about, from anthropology, the idea of the cultured person, the person who really values life as more than just being famous, being rich, being beautiful, having accomplished many things, but really the cultured person as being the one who took the time to understand who they are, to push themselves, to learn their habits, their skills, their traits, and to improve, and to become a full human being. Right, and I think being a full human being today is so much of a challenge, especially when we see the superstars that are presented on this big screen, in the movies, in the news, in the media, and the villains as well, the people who have made horrendous crimes. And you think, okay, if I see the people on the big screen, both the good and the bad, who do I want to emulate? Who do I want to become in the midst of a time where so much is being presented to us in so many perspectives? And that is why I just love this idea of reflection and solitude. And to me, just getting back on my own feet, being secluded from the world in one sense, it is healthy, because you have to remember that you have to take care of yourself and really remember that the troubles of the world will be as they are. And as from the Catholic perspective, why be so anxious and try to add one more minute of your life today? The troubles of today will be sufficient. And I didn't get that until as I've now become an older person. And I think there's something about that as being a truth, to where you come to understand as an older person that if there is a catastrophe in the world, and everyone's trying to put this as a big perspective in the world, on the news, in the media, oh, we have to follow this political idea, oh, we have to follow this terrible attack, oh, we have to go and criticize this person, yada, 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 right? The big name crimes, the big name news, the big stuff, right? But then you think, wait a minute, what about the local news in my town, my life? What is it that I've seen today that matters? Does my life matter? I think it does, in the small perspective. What about yours? And I think when we look at the perspectives of how they all add up into a greater society, okay, society has to be made up of all the individuals, and all these individuals are across the world, and that is why your perspective of today, you may not think it's so major, but it is. It's major. And no matter what faith, even if you're non-religious, it is important, because you have a memory, an idea, the experiences that you face today, of good and bad people that you were interacting with today. And I think the beauty of living a life, a full human life, is to really embrace all those days and challenges with a bit of hope that you can overcome the negative challenges that you face each day. To really see that you are more than just what people are telling you that you are. From my perspective to you, right, I'm just a YouTuber just trying to make these videos on the screen, right? Maybe they inspire some people that they find them, and that's the thing. It could be helpful, maybe it's not so helpful. Will it inspire you to really become a hero, or maybe a villain? I don't know. But the point of the video is that your perspective is so much more valuable than people are letting you respect, letting you value, because you really have something, but the world and the news and the media wants to take away our voices in some way, to take away our opinions. And I think the beauty of being able to have an idea and a mind, a soul even, if I dare say it, that the soul attached to the body is so unique. And when we are animated, creative, to be something so much more than what people were perceiving us to be, to really think outside the box, to solve problems in the world where, can I solve the issue of homelessness? Can I solve the issue of world hunger? The issue of nuclear power as if it's in the wrong hands, and how to control it? And just to keep in mind, I'm not saying against all of these negatives that, okay, nuclear power is all bad, or some sense of food and the goods and the products of demand and supply across the world are always fair. The thing is, right, economies always run, and the governments who are in charge will always be the ones that dictate laws and the issues of the day. But the thing is, also, this is where you have to flip that perspective from your perspective of the small to the larger, where you have to think, okay, if I'm going to see the big problems of today, I have to hope, have a little bit of faith against all odds, that there will be a solution that will emerge if I hold faith to what I believe and take my actions with a bit of value, a bit of hope that they will grow, transpire into a greater impact in the world. The cause and effect, that kind of idea, where you're thinking, okay, if I make a small donation to my church this weekend, maybe it's $10, maybe it's $20, will that be enough to make a difference? Perhaps so. Maybe that $10-20 gives the church collection enough to buy a new set of pews, to which it allows another family to come back into the church, to which the family then inspires more of their own extended family to pray and to become faithful again. And then the faith grows, and it's just this idea of nourishment continuing to have its effect throughout the world. And that is something that is so beautiful to think as a human being, of having a full human life of greater impact. And I think that is where it also comes back into respect. Having photos, having videos, sharing photo albums of your family to the later generations, the future ones, I mean, for those who are younger, wanting to know more about their grandparents, great-grandparents, etc., etc. And you see the memories, you see the images, you see what people were wearing, smiling about, what the celebrations were all about, a focus in those photos, and you think, wow, those are some great memories that I'm happy to have seen from that time. And at that time, that was important. But in this time, we have another celebration to celebrate. We have another celebration to admire. We have another reason to be joyful and to celebrate. And I think when you have faith against all odds, you will learn to celebrate, even in the midst of hardship, even in the midst of a terrible time, no matter when you exist in this world. Remember that. No matter when you exist in this world, there will always be problems, but you can still celebrate and be joyful for something that is worth celebrating in this day. And I think when I share these videos, these ideas online with people through the YouTube and the media, the idea here is these are memories that can be shared across throughout the years. And as I'm learning to appreciate my voice, my opinions, giving myself a little more space and respect now to share with you from this context of being a very reflective counselor, right? It's always been my idea to help people in my community, but being reflective in this sense has really helped me share my ideas, to be patient, to allow them to flow, to allow them to become more elaborate, because I'm allowing myself to think, to come up with the words, to come up with what has to be said to make sense, for you to realize, hey, if I can go through life and share my experiences that I have learned over the years, that I have learned to respect, and perhaps share with you these memories from my life for you to use, that is a wonderful thing. Thinking about the times where I was left behind, thinking about the times where maybe I had let go of somebody important that I probably could have had a relationship with, remembering those times when I could have had a great career in one industry, but then I decided to pursue another one. All because I was following what was right in my heart at the time. And maybe I was wrong several times, but then maybe several times I was right. And the faith against all odds really is an idea for you and I to really think, wow, we really went through the situations with a bit of hope, huh? Maybe we had a little bit of a risk that, oh, okay, if I take this opportunity, perhaps I will succeed. Perhaps this project will flourish. Perhaps life will be better if I pursue this idea. If I endure the hardships today of a toxic boss, of a toxic coworker, of a toxic work environment, toxic review, etc. And if I just push through to the next day, willing to see what will unfold for the future, that is a beautiful thing to see. You recognize that with the patience, with the faith, against all odds, something will bloom. Something will be fruitful, right? Something will blossom to where you're like, wow, okay, that faith really is the nourishment for me to really see what my gifts, my joys, my hardships are really producing for others to use in the future. And if I'm able to share all these with these through inspiration on the YouTube, through my videos, awesome. I mean, I don't want to be in this for fame and glory. I just want this to be an impact for people who can use these to find inspiration and hope. And right, maybe people are not in a good relationship right now. Maybe people want to take a break from one. Maybe people want to take a break from their career, want to take a break from being so serious. And the faith against all odds can really relate to you, all of you, in this sense that, hey, we all want to relax, take a step back and say, okay, let me see where I messed up. Let me see where I can improve the next time around, where I am making these mistakes so I don't make them again. Let me write down what it is that I have to improve upon next time, so that way I pass the exam, that I pass the test, that I make this next project a success, that I am able to write that grant to get the application successful, so that way we receive the funds for my company to flourish and to make an impact for the community. If I take the time to reflect and look back and to really allow myself to believe that I can improve from the past and have the faith that I can overcome the odds that are against me, right, for all of you, for me, we can really make a difference. And so the idea of memories with faith can really make a tremendous impact on your life. And it really shows that value that you were sharing with throughout all that time in your life. And people who listen to you now are like, wow, I didn't realize that was so important to you. Why didn't you share that with me? Well, at that time, I didn't think you would listen to me. So that's why, taking some time, some years, maybe some decades now later, I'm sharing all these ideas with you. And that is a beautiful thing to think about, because I was protecting those memories. There could have been some grudges, but with forgiveness, I can learn from the grudges to let go, to forgive, to love, and to move past my bitterness and anger and hatred of what I saw in the past, to now really embrace you, the person in that memory as well. Maybe you wanted to prove you were better than me in that moment, but now I recognize that you too are facing hardships and struggles that I was not recognizing. And so with faith against all odds, your perspective of other people and what they're going through really improves. And you start to become aware of, okay, I don't have to be the winner today, but I can really be a great listener right now. Listen to your problems, your successes, and see what I can do with my faith right now to learn and to have a perspective of change and hope with that impact that will help the community. Something to consider. Alright everyone, I hope this video finds you well today. I hope this one is inspirational. Always remember that you and I can make a difference in the world, and that your perspective and mine, they may be small in the moment now, but when they are making an influence in the greater community by giving them an opportunity to shine, whether through media, through the news, an impact, your job, whatever action you take, etc., once that impact takes place in the world and you see the effect, it makes you feel proud, I hope, doesn't it? As it makes me proud to know that this video can help somebody in the future. Something for me to think about. Alright everyone, hope this video finds you well. Take care, have a good one.